morning. I'm Mayor Tommy Roberts. Welcome back to the Mayor's Table. My guest this morning is our Fire Chief, Terry Page. Terry, it's good to have you here this morning.
Thanks, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity.
Happy to have you here. Terry, it's fireworks season again. It seems like it comes up rather quickly each and every year because I know it's a very busy time for you and your department and officers, as well as for our police department. The 4th of July is about 2 weeks away now, and I think the sales of fireworks are taking place now and maybe have been for some period of time. But I want to talk to our viewers this morning and give them some information about the restrictions that are in place for fireworks use this season in Farmington. And we may even expand that and talk a little bit about how the Farmington restrictions compare to San Juan County. But I want you to take us back to the legislative framework that really dictates what rights we have in Farmington to control fireworks. So why don't you explain to our viewers the legislative framework that exists today?
Sure, I'll do my best to do that. The state of New Mexico has its own statute on fireworks, and within that statute, cities, municipalities, and counties have certain restrictions that they can impose on top of that. But we are very much limited by the state statute of what we can and what we can't do. And I think that's a bit of a misnomer to a lot of people in the public, that they think we've got a little more autonomy than we really do related to fireworks laws.
Well, we are very much limited by state law, and if there were to be any changes in the framework under which fireworks are regulated, it would have to come from the state level. We are simply doing what we are able to do within the framework of that legislative process. I get calls each and every year from citizens who complain about fireworks and urge the City of Farmington to ban all fireworks. I explain to them that that's not possible under state law, but they respond in many instances by saying, well, you ought not to comply with state law. I find that an interesting dynamic, that citizens would urge us as elected members of a public body to disregard the law. So part of our problem is educating our citizens as to what our authority is. Let's talk a little bit about what Farmington has done to limit the use and sale of fireworks within the city limits over the years, and what is our current limitation and what are our current restrictions that are in place?
So right now, the City of Farmington has limited fireworks to the fullest extent allowed under that state statute. Currently, we do not allow within the city limits, we do not allow aerial fireworks. Those would be commonly known as bottle rockets, stick rockets, anything that shoots up into the air of that nature, and we do not allow firecrackers of any type. So that's something that we've tried to get that out there. If it shoots, up into the air, or if it's a firecracker type device, then they're just not legal, and that's the fullest extent that any municipality can ban on a regular basis. Now there are some extenuating circumstances related to drought indices that cities could take further steps, but currently this year we don't meet any of that criteria to go any further.
We've had a relatively wet 12 months,
yes.
I think, and in particular here early in the spring season we had quite a bit of rain, and so that has mitigated the drought conditions that we typically see at this time of year in San Juan County. And so, as you've indicated, under the current framework of law in New Mexico, we can't take any greater steps to restrict any further the use and sale of fireworks in the City of Farmington. We've got the most restrictive set of guidelines in place that we can have. Do we think the drought conditions are going to change here in the near term? And even if they did, would we have the ability to take any further action?
It's inevitable. I think the drought conditions will come back. Right now, we're listed in what's known as an abnormally dry season. We're not in a severe state. We're not in an extreme state of drought. But then contrary to that, we get what we look at more readily in the fire department is the fire danger rating system. And so although we're in a good position as far as drought goes right now, we've actually moved as of this week into the very high fire danger rating. And so we've got a small conflict there where we're very fortunate that we got the amount of moisture early in the year that we have, but now it's starting to dry out and we're seeing low humidity and frankly we've seen quite a few fires just in this last week.
Where could our viewers go to get information on what's allowed and what's not allowed?
Anywhere on the Farmington Fire Department website, the Farmington Fire Department Facebook page, and the same with the city's website and the city's Facebook page as well.
Okay. I think that's good information for our viewers. We'd encourage you to go there. You talked a little bit about the activity so far, the fire activity that we've experienced here in June, probably late May. How many incidents could you attribute to the use of fireworks?
You know, that's always a tough one for us to determine with a degree of certainty. The biggest problem is that usually when somebody burns something as a result of indiscriminate fireworks use, they don't stick around, and we've got a hard time getting those people to admit that, hey, I was using fireworks and it got away for whatever reason. Or they don't want to admit it because it was something illegal. Usually the ones that are legal within the city limits are fairly safe. It's the illegal ones that tend to get away and do some property damage. The other issue that we run into is that the fireworks itself, the source of the fire, usually burns up and we don't have any evidence of it. So we play detective a little bit and try and sort that out. I would say that because it's only been recently that the fireworks have been on sale, you know, maybe a half a dozen or so that I would think that we've seen as a result of fireworks.
I think we do know historically that during this period of time each year, the number of fire responses increases. And so intuitively, you can probably deduce that some portion of that is attributable to fireworks use. Terry, real briefly, I'd like for you to talk about the level of fire restrictions, firework use and sale restrictions in the county, because I think it's important for our viewers to understand that there's a difference in the city of Farmington and outside of the city of Farmington.
Sure. As I had mentioned earlier, the statute allows counties to make their own rules within that statute and cities to do the same. San Juan County and City of Farmington are not necessarily parallel with what's allowed and what's not allowed related to fireworks. And in the county, you can buy much bigger fireworks. You can buy the aerial fireworks. You can buy the firecrackers. And in the city of Farmington, those are not allowed. So what we see are the fireworks vendors setting up their stands literally right on the city and county lines where they intersect with each other. And the people in the county can sell those fireworks and the people in the city cannot sell those fireworks. And therefore, I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between whether they're actually purchasing those in the county or whether they're purchasing those within the city. I would like to point out to the viewers that those fireworks that I mentioned that are illegal in the city of Farmington, it's actually illegal to even possess those within the city limits. So people are buying a lot of times, you know, completely, they feel legitimate buying them in one location and then transporting them to another location, and they may be in violation of the law just by doing that.
Well, Terry, I want to close this segment by pointing out that the City Council last Tuesday evening at its regular meeting adopted a resolution which urges our citizens to use sources of fire, including fireworks, very responsibly and with caution and due regard for their property and other people's property and lives. And we think that's an important message to send. The resolution itself doesn't create any additional restrictions. It's just a common sense approach to the use of fire sources, including fireworks. The resolution, though, does contain a statement that indicates that there's a zero tolerance policy in place. As our officers get out on the streets and enforcing the restrictions that are in place, there will be no tolerance. If they're caught, they'll be cited. So I want you to reinforce that if you would.
Sure. Both the police department and the fire department in the city of Farmington will be out in full force together and separately as well around the time of the 4th of July. We will be issuing citations. In the past, those citations have been typically about $500. It can also carry jail time, and we'll see that would be up to the municipal judge at that point if we do that. And the other thing that goes along with that, if we find the people with the illegal fireworks in the city, we are to confiscate all of those fireworks by the state law as well. So not only would the person receive a big fine, they would also lose all the fireworks that they purchased, and I know that those aren't cheap to purchase.
Well, Terry, thank you for being here. I think, again, this is an important subject and a timely topic for discussion. In closing, I want to urge all of the viewers and those who aren't viewing, who may hear this message, to use fireworks in accordance with the law, use them safely and reasonably. Enjoy the holidays first and foremost. We aren't trying to dampen the spirit of this 4th of July season, celebration of our independence, but we just want people to do these things in a safe manner and a considerate manner. There are a couple of public fireworks displays that we would encourage you to view and take advantage of. The BOLAC display, and then the public display that is always held on, I think, the evening before the 4th of July, and I think that's scheduled for July 3rd, which is a Sunday this year. So once again, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Mayor's Table, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.